Welcome to Coleman Report Live. I'm Bob Coleman. We're talking Main Street and the small business lenders to help it grow. I guess we call this Monday Light. We're looking at our numbers. A lot of people have the day off. We think those of you who are around joining us, we appreciate it. Katie Roach, undisclosed, out of Washington State. Joseph Coleman, undisclosed, at LAX. Actually, you're near the Rams Stadium, right?
I'm right. Yeah, I'm near Inglewood in the new stadium. It's beautiful.
Right.
I can't wait to go see it in person.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. Please ask your questions. We're going to go through this. First of all, let's see. We have Lance is doing this webinar. Lance is taking the day off also. We're going to do it Thursday.
Correct. This is the
right.
forgiveness.
We're doing on Wednesday. We'll do this on Thursday.
Yeah.
We were just try to put context to all of this stuff. Also, for those of you who signed up for the webinar, there will be a guide. Katie, how are you coming on the guide?
It's coming along. There's at least, I'm going through all the IFRs and trying to make sure that everybody knows exactly what's going on and what IFRs have canceled each other and things like that. So trying to put everything into context.
That's what we're trying to do. Well, good job. So that'll be available to all those who sign up for the webinar. Let's go to the poll questions. What percentage of PPP loan volume is under $50,000? Let's see. Let's sort of review total PPP loan disbursements. What was the final number, Katie? We're over 500 billion, right? What are we, closer to 6?
I haven't seen the numbers in a little while, but that sounds about right. I think it's just, we've been a couple months here of waiting for more guidance and waiting to see if it's going to be extended or not. So I think it's been a little while since I've looked at it.
Joseph, how did our people do?
Good. Yeah, the answer is 69% of the loan volume. So 3.5 million outstanding PPP loans of 50,000 or less. And that is totaling 62 billion of the 500 and I don't want to guess billion, but significantly more. So,
what percentage of PPP loan dollar amount is under 50,000? What is this? What are you getting here, Joseph? We're talking about number of loans.
Yeah, so
or total disbursements.
Kind of read between the lines. Yeah, so the total and most people, the answer is only 12% of the dollar amount is under the 50,000 threshold. So 62
Okay, so
billion
number of loans is 69%. Dollar amount is 12%.
12%, correct. Yeah.
Finally, do you feel SBA lenders have the sufficient infrastructure to process these applications?
Surprising results.
Well, that's too bad. I'm sorry to see those numbers. Hopefully, that's what we're going to try to do. Is on Wednesday we're going to try to bring some clarity to all of this situation with the guide, and we're going to break out exactly what the lenders have to do. Katie, I know you're putting this together. There's a lot of gray area and a lot of conflicting information, correct?
There is. Well, it's really that there's not a lot of information that was included in the IFR that was attached. They gave about a paragraph and a half about what the lender is supposed to do. And I've read over it probably 6 or 7 times now, and it's just not very clear, unfortunately. So I think they really need to maybe send out maybe just another little informational packet or something to tell people exactly what they need to submit and things like that.
And more importantly, what they need to receive from the borrower. We know we're getting the borrower certification, but there's language in there that we also need to have supporting documentation. And I know you're working through that. Joseph, you wanted to follow up on the conversation on Friday where we're talking with John Riosti. What's going on with this?
Well, I think John just puts it into context so well. So we received initial forgiveness May 15th, and that was the big 11-page, lengthy, burdensome application, and then a month later in June, they followed it up with the EZ application. So to put this all into context, they've gotten it down to one page and the $50,000 threshold, but it's a very fluid, evolving situation for many lenders and borrowers alike.
Katie, Forbes put together a great chart. We're going to fact check this. We apologize for the tiny font, but it is, you can download it. You can also Google it, Forbes. Break it up, Katie. We have under 50,000, we have all borrowers, and we have, anyway, go ahead. What do we have in this chart?
I think it's useful. The only thing I'm really concerned about that I still really want to look into is the amount of information that the borrower submits, and then what the lender is going to submit afterwards, because I've seen various news sources that are kind of saying one way or another. Some people are saying, yeah, the lender just needs to receive all the documents and then approve that they received it, and others are really wanting to still look through all those documents and double check calculations and things like that. So it will be kind of one of those things that I think we need a little bit of clarification on, and obviously I'm going through all those IFRs to see if it's included in that as well. But this is a nice little chart that goes through, obviously the Form 3508, the traditional form is 5 pages. That's going to work for any borrower. But it's obviously very long and pretty burdensome for the borrower and the lender to go through all of that. So if you have if you have one that is a smaller loan, then you can use the 3508EZ. And then if you've got under $50,000, you can, of course, use that new form that we just received.
Yeah, not to criticize our friends at Forbes, but come on, really, additional information to be required in that lower right-hand corner? Yes, but not as much. I mean, come on, help us out here. But for 50,000 and less, it says we don't have to worry about FTE and wage reduction calculations. That is important. And we don't need the worksheet. And as we said, these forms also supersede the other forms. We do know that there's an August 31st deadline on these, expiration dates. So we expect either we'll have a notice saying to extend it.
October 31st, yeah.
I apologize. Or we'll extend it, or it'll be revised again. What are we talking about in terms of, this is an interesting article, survey finds minority small business owners are more adaptable. More adaptable to what?
So this was a Union Bank survey that got forwarded to us, and I went through all their details. And what was very interesting is they found that minority small business owners were adjusting their products and services, adding online retail options, expanding delivery options and things like that, all at a much higher rate than the non-minority groups. And they were adapting better to the pandemic and actually doing better in that sense than some of the non-minority groups. But unfortunately, even though they're doing those shifts and even though they're trying, a lot of those minority groups, they are living in parts of the country that are maybe hit a little bit harder, or they're not quite able to make ends meet even though they're doing those things. So even though they've adjusted, they're still seeking a lot of support. 66% are hoping for more government aid. 59% have started reaching out to their communities and asking for more assistance, and 51% plan to get more help from the private sector. So they're still needing more help, but of course they are adjusting their business plans, and they're doing a little bit better on that sense during the pandemic.
Katie, what is the source of the survey?
This one was done by Union Bank. So they sent us the information about this, and they did their own survey. And I'm seeing more and more banks and lenders do this, where they're wanting to look into who's still needing loans and how they can help those people. So obviously this bank probably is going to use that information to better serve their clients. But of course, you know, anybody can really use this information.
Yeah, very good. Sherman asked the question about the 3508. He wanted to make sure it's okay to submit for forgiveness that have already been submitted. It's gray area, but I think common sense, prudent lending is no, we don't have to go back and get that. If you submitted it, you're fine. You're fine. Please correct me if I'm wrong with that information, but that just seems reasonable that SBA is not going to ask you to go back and do that. Sylvester asked the question, is the lender required to review and verify actual supporting documentation? That is the question of the day. Can we just confirm the receipt of documentation? It depends on a number of factors. Number one, the dollar amount. Number two, we do need some documentation, but it's unclear to us exactly what documentation you need to, quote, approve and send to SBA. Again, I'm criticizing Forbes for saying we need documentation, but we don't, but not as much. You know,
Yeah, I mean, there's a list of what the borrower needs to send
Right.
the lender, but there's no list up from the lender's side what they're sending SBA and what they're just retaining. So that's, I think,
Well, what I'm concerned about, and more importantly, what is the lender actually approving? And what certifications does the lender have to do? We know we went through the borrower certifications on Friday, so we know we have that. So we expect more clarity as we ask these questions. Joseph, what do we have upcoming in webinars?
Yeah, just a quick question from Nathan. I just got an email, and he said, "What if we have a loan that's $50,100?" The threshold question, I think, is going to be
Sorry,
tough.
Nathan. Sorry. I don't make the rules.
Well, no, he's asking, can they repay $100 and then make use of the new form?
That I can't.
Yeah.
that would be nice. That would be a nice addition, especially
I
for
don't
those
think
people who are
so.
just
Yeah, I think
barely
they're-
over. But I don't think I've heard anything about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. You can send it to the servicing. You can send it to the servicing centers. But to Joseph, make a note of that. We'll follow up on that, on what exactly is it, if that's an option. Obviously, that's such a unique question, or it's so close. You know, common sense would be, yeah, but again, a regulation's a regulation. So we will, we're not optimistic.
Address it again.
We'll ask the question. Okay, so Lance is going to do his PDK environment, PDK in a pandemic environment webinar on Wednesday, and then we're going to hopefully have all these answers for you on Thursday for this webinar. Correct, Joseph?
Correct, yeah. So we will be putting it all together today and tomorrow, and then we'll put together the good show on Thursday.
Now let's go to the fun stuff. Please send in your nominations. Katie, what do we got here?
So we're doing our nominations for the Coleman Professional Lender Awards. This is now, how many years have we been doing this?
I think this is the third year. This will be our third year, Joseph.
Yeah, and we got a couple over the weekend. Thank you for submitting it. So
Yeah. So
please do not have, please. I mean, we get nominations all the way from a couple paragraphs to endorsements from the C-suite. I don't want to make this onerous, so be what you're comfortable in. Katie, what's the cutoff date that we've established this year?
I believe it's toward the
November 6th.
beginning of November. What is it?
November 6th.
The 6th. Okay. Yeah, so we've added some new sections as well, at least with the PPP Lender of the Year. So I'm excited to see all the people who are submitted, read some of these. I get to read some of them, and they're great stories of, people who do amazing things for these small businesses. So I love hearing the stories, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and lender is a broad term. It can be an underwriter, it can be closer, it can be a BDO, department of managers, obviously. So we're not too picky about that. Unfortunately, we like to have a luncheon. I'm telling you right now, we're not going to have a luncheon this year, but everyone will get a plaque. There's no fee to enter. There's no fee to obtain the plaque. We don't do that. And we'll send those out. And hopefully in 2022, we can have a nice lunch, and we can invite past winners and get everyone there. We were scheduling it for Vegas in April of 20. Well, that didn't work out. So anyway, think about that. You can nominate
we had a
yourself.
nice. I did a Zoom for one of the award winners last year. We did a Zoom happy hour and a toast to her. It's not the same, so look forward to the real thing.
Yeah. That's right. You went ahead and you gave out the award to virtual, correct, Joseph? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is our way of giving back and recognizing the professionals in our industry, and you truly are all professionals. Real quick, let's see. We have our compensation reports that's ready to rock and roll. It's all done, so feel free to order that. And of course, the franchise NAICS reports. We will be publishing our 2021 franchise report. We're going to do it as soon as possible. Historically, SB drops that data 30 days, but actually franchise, we go calendar year off that, right, Joseph?
Correct. Yeah. So we need to wait until January.
Yeah,
but
so
we do have the numbers through June 30th. I checked Friday, and then we should get 9:30 in a couple weeks, so we can do the Coleman Report 500.
Finally, for those of you who are sequestering still at home, we have our online training sessions, our award-winning loan underwriting, as well as certified closing. Hey, I appreciate you taking time. I know you're all busy, taking time for your busy day. Katie, we really didn't do a Washington wrap-up because there's probably not anything to wrap up, is there?
No, there's still a little bit of talk, but otherwise, there's no real new news about a new bill or anything like that. So I think it's just kind of waiting it out and seeing what the next thing suggested is.
Okay. Let's see, real quick. Congratulations to KeyBank. KeyBank sent a press release saying they're 7th in 7A lending this year. We're reporting those for the calendar year. We will, as soon as we get those numbers, we will issue our Coleman Report 500. Congratulations, Thomas USAF, $7.1 million, a assisted living facility in Georgia, combination of a B&I and I believe it was a 504 loan. So congratulations on that.
Ooh, your audio cut.
Oh, I thought that was just me. I couldn't hear him at first.
Yeah, I think
How's
your
that?
audio cut. There you go.
That? There you go.
Yeah, you got you.
Did you hear Thomas?
Yeah, the
Okay.
first part.
Crestmark, and they did 10 SBA loans. So anyway, we love talking about that and the success stories that we're doing. Okay, well, it's very good. Thank you all for joining us today for Coleman Report Live and for supporting America's Main Street, one entrepreneur at a time.
Have a great day.
Have a good one.